welcome back to the Sports View. I'm Delcy D, and we have in the studio Zone, and you were just telling us about Drive Me Crazy and Club Jumping.
Right. Drive Me Crazy was, I'm not gonna say a mistake. It was not a mistake. It was ordained to happen. But like I said, I was in the studio one night, and you know, you like to sip and do your thing. They call it living expenses. Everybody knows what living expenses is. We're just gonna leave it at that.
No, what is that actually? I'm just kidding.
You know, every rapper usually ends up getting caught with living expenses.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? When you see a red cup in her hand or anything like that, it took. But yeah, I was on a red cup that night. I was in the studio late as usual. That's everyday thing. And like I said, I went to tie my shoes because I seen that they weren't tied, and I just started singing a little jingle, went down. I actually freestyled the whole song. You're not supposed to tell everybody that, but you know what? I have no shame in my game when it comes down to my music. I just have recently wrote the lyrics down to it, but those was all freestyles. The hook was a freestyle, and if, like I said, if it weren't for Big Yayo 22 on Twitter, it would have never went down. I would have told him to erase it, like I did 800 of the songs that haven't made it out yet. But one thing about me in the studio is like, I don't like to be rushed. You know what I mean? I like to be able to take my time and be an artist and do exactly what you want me to do. When it starts feeling like work, it just it takes the fun out of it. Already having it pre-roll, going in there, having the mic set up, and everybody feeling like they're doing their job. That I don't like that part. I mean, the engineer, of course, yeah, but I even like to have fun with the engineer. A lot of people don't like him to drink or whatever. Man, he can do whatever, man. As long as the record get done, and as long as, hey, we can go back and fix it if there's something wrong with it. Everything's not perfect, you know. But as far as that, man, is if you let me go in and into the studio and just, you know, vibe off what I'm supposed to be doing, let me take, you know, this, let me go in here, let me call my people on the phone, let me go outside, look at the birds, breathe, you know, take a deep breath, come back in, and then go to work, magic happens.
Why don't you tell us about that first studio experience?
My very first studio experience, I knocked out, I think it was 3 songs in less than an hour and a half, and it wasn't like work. I had worked on I had got the tracks the day before. When I went in the studio, I was like, wow, you know what I mean? This is a long way and a long process from recording in your closet at the house, you know what I mean? It brings a little bit more out of you. The excitement comes out. It seems like you do your best because you're in your best environment, you know what I mean? When you're in the house, you're lackadaisical, you're too relaxed, you know what I mean? When you get too relaxed, now, what I said before, now being too relaxed, now that's a different thing, you know what I mean? When you got your feet kicked up like it's home,
right,
then you got to twist it. You don't do it like that.
Work still got to get done.
Yeah, work still got to get done. I mean, it's fun and games to a certain extent, you know what I mean? But you just got to know how and when and exactly when to do and play your part in that position. But my first studio experience was like, I mean, I didn't know what was going to go down. They gave me some tracks. I brought them home. I mean, I was working all night on. Now, that felt like work. I'm not going to flex with you because I had to make a big impression to the people that was trying to pull me into their situation, and I didn't want to fail them because there's a lot of weight on your shoulders when people believe in you and you don't want to let them down.
Let me ask you a question before you go further. You said that they gave you tracks. Is this just music tracks for you to put your lyrics on?
Right.
Okay.
Right, yeah. They gave me tracks to put my music on because actually I went in the studio for the first time. I was down there with Motown Universal, and I had came to HQ Recordings with Bamboo, and he thought I was signed to Universal, but I walked up to him. He was playing tracks from Core DJ Wiz, from Jay Mills, producer. He was playing tracks from everybody, you know, and John tracks, DJ Geronimo. They all make beats and they produce. I mean, I went through a list of them. He picked them out, you know what I mean? And but before he even picked them out, I came in and I asked him, do you mind? And he kept asking me, what do you mean by do you mind? I was like, man, I keep hearing these tracks and I'm biting my lips over here. Can I spit? I went through like 1 through 54.
Wow.
I just kept freestyling. Finally, he was like, man, here, pick out these, take them home, do what you do, come back. And I had 3 songs ready for him when I came back. And it only took like an hour to record them because I already knew them, you know what I mean? I already had them. I stayed up all night repetitively trying to learn the words and the hook and everything, the drops and where they needed to go.
So now you said, like, with the tracks and your writing, I know with R&B singers, the writing, it's a lot of times the music is behind the writer, you know. With rappers, most rappers write their own
Oh yeah, right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right,
So is
yeah.
that the same? Because it's a rapper, is it different in that game? Because do you get more points off,
Well,
that song? Or
I mean, here's my theory. I mean, I'm gonna really set this down like this. You get a whole lot more respect if you write your own lyrics. You know what I mean? I write all my lyrics. I've never had anybody. Usually, when you say something like that to somebody, it's almost kind of like disrespect. Like, oh, I got a 16 for you. No, man. I'm an artist. I'm not just a rapper. You know what I mean? I don't want just your rap so I can go out. I'm an artist. I create and paint pictures that you can see visually in your mind. That, oh, okay, I can understand. Or I can relate to that. Now, I do not have a problem with making good music. Now, if that takes 5 people to come in the room and throw all their ideas collectively on the table to make that work, like they say, 2 heads better than 1. And if you got 10 or 12 in the room and all of them are creating at the time, no answer is wrong. And no stone is unturned, So we're going to try to get to the solution to that problem. Now, there's been a couple times I done had 2 people, 3 people write a couple hooks for me. Now, I mean, I've only used 1. And the only reason why I used that one is because it had meaning, it was soulful, and it was something that was connecting to the lyrics that I was writing at the time that just made it a complete, I guess you could say a song or a sentence, either way, you know what I mean? But I like that part about making music. I like collaborating. I like people's ideas. I like to know how they feel about it. One thing about an artist, Erykah Badu said it best, I am sensitive about my craft is what it is, and being very sensitive. I think a lot of times artists are very insecure because we're our own worst critic. We can hear it 1,000 times and we know it sounds good, but we done psyched our mind out so many times that we gotta ask everybody in the room, does this sound good? Does this sound good if you listen to this? So that's how that works.
Because usually I see with artists, to them what they put out sound good. They might like one song better than the other. But, it's the audience that's really going to tell it. Because, there's a lot of artists that have came out with their first album and it blew up. And then the second one, nobody bought it. But to them, of course, it sounded good for them to put it out there. So, but what should we be looking for Zone in the future? What future ventures do you have coming up?
Well, whoever said the sky's the limit, man, he was a lie. The devil is a lie. You know what I mean?
Amen to that.
The future for me that holds right now is pushing this single to the point where it does catch your ears and your attentions and it makes you want to hear more from me. I'm also looking toward acting. I'm also looking toward, anything. A Fruit Loop commercial. You want me on it, I got you. You know what I mean? Waffle House commercial. I mean, there's anything that makes, if it makes sense, it's not all about the money to me. You know what I mean? It's about just being there for what you love. And there is not too many things in this world that I love other than my people, my friends, and my music.
So how can someone get in touch with you, or where can they see your work on the net?
Oh, well, you can go to www.reverbnation.com/Red's music page. You can go to myspace.com/Red's music page. You can follow my links on Twitter at RedZone1. You can go to Facebook. I got my real name on there, Kevin Drummond. It's like Travis Porter, you know what I mean? Everybody, and go to www.headquartersmusic.com. Make sure you check out the studio and everything that we had to offer, because it's not just me, you know what I mean? There's plenty. I got a team. I'm doing this for my team. This is who they feel like needs to represent us, and this is who we pushing forward. And, I'm not going to let nobody down.
Did a birdie tell me that you have a birthday coming up? Or?
Oh, yes. My birthday is November 7th, and shouts out to all the Scorpios out there. I appreciate y'all, and, and SportsView and everybody else that's had me here, you, Miss Kathy, everybody that's here right now, I appreciate every one of y'all that listen to my story. There's a lot of things I didn't touch bases on, but we'll save that for another time.
Well, my name is Delcy D, and this is a Sports View. We'll come right back with Zone because he has plenty more to give us, and we'll see you in a minute. And don't forget to follow the Sports View on Twitter at ASVTV Network. We'll be right back.